Welcome to the chaos sector. I know many question the DoorDash theory, but let's break it down. Has the DoorDash driver been identified? Not to my knowledge. Sure, they can claim he made a statement to the authorities. We've already proven statements, documents, and so-called evidence has been fabricated. Now, this dynamic hasn't been addressed, so let's break it down. The killers may have known where their targets stayed, but they wouldn't know their whereabouts and time they came home unless they observed them arriving. Or, they were notified that they were arriving. Take that for what it's worth. The same concept applies in the narrative. It was Kohberger, right? Kohberger would have had to observe his victims for some time, all the way up until they arrived at home. They all arrived approximately around 2 a.m., and this is the time frame the authorities claim that Kohberger's cell phone would go offline. Here's the alleged timeline and map of Kohberger's path the night of. Number 1. 2:42 a.m., Kohberger's cell phone is located at his residence, 1640, Northeast Valley Road in Pullman. Number 2. 2:47 a.m., the cell phone shows it traveling south through Pullman, but then stops reporting a network connection. Number 3. 3:29 a.m. to 4:20 a.m., the Hyundai Elantra makes 3 initial passes by the 1122 King Road residence. It returns a 4th time at 4:04 a.m., first driving eastbound on King Road. It leaves the area at 4:20 a.m., traveling at a high rate of speed. Number 4. 4:48 a.m., the cell phone comes back online and pings at Blaine, near Highway 95. Now, let's focus on that 3:29 to 4:20 a.m. time frame, because this is when the murders took place. The 4th time Kohberger arrives near the home is at 4:04 a.m., right? Kernodle receives her DoorDash delivery at the same time, right? Either Kohberger waited till the DoorDash guy delivered, then drove away, and then proceeded to brutally stab her boyfriend, and 2 other roommates upstairs, or he is the freaking DoorDash deliverer. Let's use our common sense here, people. They provide the alleged path to the massacre, right? Yet, how would Kohberger know what time to arrive at that home? What if no one was home when he pulled up? Would he wait? Would he decide to come back another night? Obviously his plans would be changed, due to his targets not being home, right? Spoiled. The media depicted Kohberger's travel as determined, yet somewhat impatient, leading him to drive back and forth, trying to pick the right time to attack, right? But the time frame in which he was spotted driving back and forth was around the same time Kernodle was waiting for her DoorDash delivery. It takes some time for your delivery to arrive, approximately the time frame between 3:29 a.m. and 4:20 a.m. It usually takes about 40 minutes for the delivery to arrive, especially when ordering overnight. Also, because it's overnight, DoorDash may not have drivers in the area. Interesting, right? Kohberger was a DoorDash driver some distance away, picked up the order, and headed to Moscow. It's approximately 10 miles from Pullman to Moscow, timed at about 15 minutes. Interesting. Now the missing piece to this puzzle is, when did Kernodle make the order? That's extremely vital, because it could literally connect Kohberger's presence to that order and arrival time. Keep in mind, the DoorDash deliveries overnight are slower. If Kernodle and Chapin got home around 2 a.m., it's safe to say that she ordered from DoorDash within this hour. Perhaps around 2:30 a.m., let's go with that. An order around 2:30 a.m. is around the time Kohberger's cell phone had been tracked, approximately 2:42 a.m., right? He gets a call, heads out to Jack in a Box, which has a waiting time in the drive-thru of course, arrives in that area around 3:29 a.m., searches for the address, but the area is quite congested, with different roads going every which way, and finally finds the home around 4:04 a.m. Also, they never released Kernodle's phone records, which would verify what time the order was made, and when did the driver physically arrive in the area. And, if there was communication between Kernodle and the driver regarding complications with the address, etc. DoorDash will notify you they are either outside, or having complications finding your address. In that congested area, and being overnight, I'm pretty sure the driver needed to verify everything. If it were a familiar driver in that area, who often delivered at that residence, they would have been interviewed by the media, without a doubt. So it was someone who didn't know that area well. Listen, Kohberger was the DoorDash driver, it's obvious here. If they depict Kohberger as being calculated, where he shut off his cell phone data, to prevent anyone from tracking him, then why drive a glaring white vehicle to commit the crime? And speed off, which would magnify that white vehicle even more. And, we have to keep reiterating, how would Kohberger know what time to head to that area? Did he just randomly arrive there? Did he have a time frame in mind? It doesn't matter what time he decided to head over there, because he would not know, I repeat, he would not know those roommates were at home, unless he observed them. And since he was not, I repeat, since he was not physically in that area tracking them, it's impossible for him to know they were there. Remember, he was at his home in Pullman, based on the cell phone data. Then, he decides, hey, let me go check to see if I can murder those college students. Hops in his car, drives to that area, drives around, not worrying about being spotted, or even stopped by anyone in the neighborhood, just drives around, observes one of the roommates receive food from a DoorDash delivery, waits for them to drive off, then heads into the home and stabs 4 people to death. I guess, based on the entire case. So it was by chance that the roommates were there, yet, they depict Kohberger as being so calculated, as he stalked his victims. But wouldn't know if they were home or not. No logic detected in that narrative, so there has to be another reason he was there. And my theory is, he was there because he delivered food to one of the victims. Mind you, he quote, returned to that area at 4:04 a.m. Kernodle receives her delivery at 4 a.m. If she got her food at about 4 a.m., and Kohberger arrives at 4:04 a.m., this means someone was physically at the home, before we assume Kohberger would enter. I'm pretty sure the DoorDash driver had a few moments with Kernodle before leaving, right? Perhaps a few minutes? If you claim he would wait at a distance, till the driver leaves, this contradicts his random behavior of deciding to head there without knowing they were there in the first place. A blank trip had good timing, right? It's a blank trip, because he does not know they are there. He's going in head first. And it also contradicts the narrative that he was spotted in that area so many times prior, alluding to him tracking their movements, their location, and schedules. If he was that determined, then he would have known for certain they were home, by way of that very stalking. The DoorDash driver hasn't been identified, nor to my knowledge, have they made a statement. Kernodle's phone records of that time frame were not disclosed, yet they state she received her delivery at 4 a.m., and was on TikTok around 4:12 a.m. In addition, they have never released any phone records from Kohberger neither. You track his phone, knows when it goes offline, then back online, yet Kohberger never communicated with anyone during this time frame? Surely there is someone he communicated with. Could it be that time frame they allege his phone quote, went offline, is actually when he communicated with Kernodle regarding her DoorDash delivery? Maybe she placed her order around the time his phone quote, goes offline, to protect the truth that he was the DoorDash driver. After all, if there's fake blood along the wall, planted DNA on a planted knife sheath, and no blood prints on the concrete exiting the home, we can also suggest Kohberger was a DoorDash driver. Someone claimed, the authorities won't disclose everything, right? There's a good reason for that. It prevents independent investigators such as ourselves from connecting the dots. But we connect them anyway, because whatever deception exists within this case cannot avoid the chaos sector. This is the chaos sector.